And welcome back, everyone. Oh my god, oh god. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the Tenacious Turtle Tussle number 13. I'm, of course, your host, Live VIP, and with me, I am joined by my lovely plushies, lovely people in the chat, the players in the tournaments, and all the raiders as well. Big shout out to Juggernaut Jason. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. For those that are tuning in, this is a very special tournament. This is a bi-weekly region-locked event. Region-locked to North America, Latin America, Oceania, and Southeast Asia. And here we go. We're diving into this. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the American Terran player. It is SpiffyBee. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Protoss representing Berserker Esports. It is DaveTesta. Usually a caster, but tonight he is going to be a player. Again, !B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. We have quite a stacked bracket here. When it comes to the big names, when it comes to the more well-known names in the bracket, we do have Vindicta, we have Nina as well, Sephiron, and Stardash as your kind of more iconic players. We're missing some of our more regulars, I should say. Trigger isn't here, Nice isn't here, which makes sense. They've been busy with ESL Masters, they've been busy with other events, so I don't blame them for not rocking up here this week. It is a bit of a shame that we don't get to see them. You know, every single week we get to cover them and all the PvPs and all that good stuff. Hon Mono is missing this week as well. No, Hon Mono. No, I almost said Kashin. No, I'm thinking of the Zerg player. Okay. No, Reaper, unfortunately. But it's all good. I believe this week we may have a new champion as well. Vindicta has had some deep runs before, but again, he hasn't quite been a champion. We haven't had Nina here before either. I believe it's her first time. Gonna be looking to walk that royal road. Until then, we're just getting into this series. Love to see the turtle. Vámonos, papi, vámonos. Until then, again, we do have a pretty economic opener. It's going to be a Rax Expand here out of SpiffyBee. Likewise, DaveTesta is known for his aggression. Just getting into this, of course, DaveTesta usually is casting this event as well alongside us, but here he's going to be playing for now until his tournament run does end. And Dave is known for his cheese. He's known for his aggression. We're going for a proxy pylon. I'm feeling... Are we going to throw down a proxy Stargate and just go for some Void Rays? If so, it is a late variation of this, but I'm curious how this is all going to come together. Yep, it's going to be the Stargate. Now, unfortunately, this is a proxy Stargate after the Nexus, so this is... Yeah, this is a unique variation of going for the proxy. Regardless of Void Ray is going to be on the way, the Adept does rock up, and it is going to be focused down. Another best trade, one Adept for a Marine. As we have the Stargate, we have the Gateway as well. We saw this last week, or last edition, in DaveTesta versus, I want to say it was Hon Mono. Yeah, it was DaveTesta versus Hon Mono on Alcyone. Didn't quite find the success he was looking for, but against SpiffyBee, maybe he can. Against SpiffyBee, more of a Masters player. A little bit lower on the totem pole, so we could maybe cause that upset. Here comes a Void Ray on the way as well. Cyclone being dragged out of position, but actually it may... decide to turn back around. So far, yeah, he's gonna go and check. He's gonna scout, and he does come across the proxy. Oh, there's a Stalker. He does get caught out. Shield battery out of range. Second Stalker goes down as well, and that's not just his pylon. We can try to focus it down. We're a couple of seconds away. It looks like the Void Ray will finish. By the pylon, it gets depowered. Void Ray going ham, takes down both Cyclones, but the Marines, they take down the Void Ray, everything gets shut down, and DaveTesta back at home is in a really rough position. Oh, he does have some other tech though. He threw down a Twilight Council, and that is a Dark Shrine. Again, this is kind of the downside of this proxy that he went for, is that he was taking up in so many different directions that, of course, it did end up weakening this in the end. But SpiffyBee rocks up, and he is going to, again, shut this down. Additional Cyclones are on the way. He's getting into his 3-1-1 setup. What we expect to see here on two bases, and SpiffyBee is soon to push out. And what is there at home to defend? Other than the Dark Shrine, of course. These DTs, they could maybe allow DaveTesta to hold on a little bit longer. do we have to work with? We have a couple of bases. We do have some scans available, and I'm sure SpiffyBee is aware of the reputation that Dave has. Again, a very cheesy, very aggressive player. I'm sure he is aware. So here we go. We're going for a drop into the main base. The Dark Shrine, it's gonna get scouted. It has been seen. We can focus on some more of these Stalkers as well. Hot pickup. We do save the Cyclone. The control, Bappy. Let's go. We save the Cyclone. We take down more of these Stalkers as well. The DT does reveal itself. And again, SpiffyBee is aware to hold on to energy to save for those scans. Potentially even getting into a Raven. But now Dave is stuck on 2 bases. He has a decent economy, is what I will say. Not ideal. SpiffyBee is ahead, don't get me wrong, but Dave not too far behind. Again, tech-wise, though, Blink, it just now starts. Without it, he is lacking map control. Lacking much of a presence. Liberator comes into the main base, and here comes the main push. The Archon. Archon barely going to be able to hold on. Probes, they're going down in the main. Overcharge is pop. We're going to try to hold on with 1 Archon and a couple of Zealots. But it's out of range. Archon, it's going to go down out of range of the shield battery. And SpiffyBee, he is looking to snowball out of control. As he breaks through the natural, there are a couple of DTs to defend. We should have a scan available. Yeah, we do, thankfully. A couple of swipes come in. Where's the scan? Scan's a little bit delayed. 1 Cyclone goes down. The Archon's being morphed in. Dave, he's barely holding on. Up. But the Liberator's not done. Nowhere near, as a couple more probes are going to be going down. And behind this, we have reinforcements on the way. Stim has completed combat shields, just now starting, so SpiffyBee doesn't have the most ideal upgrade setup here, but regardless, he's working towards it. And he is looking to push towards that natural. Again, he just needs to be on point with his scans for the most part. We do have the army coming out, but it's a bit of a kitchen sink here. We got an Archon, a couple of Sentries, an Immortal. Against Pure Marine, this doesn't do too poorly. But really, we were distracting the army. This, the Liberator, the Freedom. This is too much, man. Getting another 6 probe kills in the main. Here we go. SpiffyBee just going to be rallying his reinforcements across the map. Macro, for the most part, has been on point. Again, his Marines, they're struggling to work through that Archon, but there is no shield battery here at the natural. It hasn't been rebuilt, no overcharge. We should have enough to break through. Addition. Force field, the DT does reveal itself. Do we have a scan? We do. The friendly fire. Oh my god. A lot of friendly fire on those Marines, but we bust through nonetheless. There's another DT here on top of the ramp. We do have another scan. And GG is going to get called. SpiffyBee taking game number 1. GG. Again, we were lucky enough to cast him last week as well, and he did well for himself, all things considered. Did well for himself, and here he's going to be able to take that first game as well. Just setting things up here. Correcting the teams. Bam. There we go. Beautiful. And oh, I just realized my mistake. Un momento, papi, un momento. Yeah, there we go. But we will go over the bracket once we wrap up this series. Once we have a little bit of time to ourselves, we'll go over the brackets and go over all the matches, go over any updates that we have as we get ready for game 2. And again, here in the first round, we do have more of these lesser known players facing off, which I'm more than happy to feature, of course. More than happy to feature them. And if you're in the chat, if you're interested in competing, like a lot of these players, especially in the first round, they're, Diamond, they're Masters. We even have a Gold player. Shout out to Sounder. Sounder, a regular viewer of the channel. He's out there fighting his heart out. Always. Always appreciate Sounder taking part. Now again, the only restrictions that we have is regional restrictions. Only region. And here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hecate. We have the American Terran, the green Terran. It is SpiffyBee. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Protoss, typically a caster, but here is a player representing Berserker Esports. It is DaveTesta. Here we go. We are going to be moving out. But again, a big shout out to Juggernaut Jason as well. Thank you. Maybe one day we can see Jason compete in our events. Maybe. Would be great to see. For now, we're just getting into the swing of things. Once again, SpiffyBee going for a Rax expand. Probe is coming in for a bit of a scout. Just being as annoying as possible. But for the most part, SpiffyBee should be able to expand and should be able to get into the swing of things here. Now, I don't imagine, like, again, DaveTesta, he's a very cheesy player. I don't imagine he's going to be going for a proxy Stargate again 2 games in a row, especially after having a hard time in game 1. But I'm sure we're going to be seeing something different here. I'm ready for it. Again, Hecate is a very large map, a lot of area to traverse. We could see some ninja bases. There's a lot of places to throw down our proxy if we really did want to. If you want to really make something like that work. For now, Gate Cyber Expand, standard opener here from DaveTesta. Nothing too wild, not yet. And I'm all for some more standard play. Something that we did see last week, or 2 weeks ago at this point, is that DaveTesta had some really good disruptor control. We saw him against Honmono, and obviously Honmono, he's a pro player, and he was favored coming into it. But we saw some really good moments where DaveTesta was able to land some juicy purification overs once he got into the swing of things, once he got into some 3-base saturation, or 2 to 3 base saturation. He was able to work wonders with those disruptors. We'll see if we can see that again. For now, Reaper dips into the main. We do get eyes on the tech of choice. It's going to be a Stargate opener here from DaveTesta. Not a Twilight Council. Yeah, it is going to be that Stargate. We do have a proxy pylon out on the map as well. I'm curious how we're all going to piece this together. Now, with this Stargate opener, I imagine it's going to be Oracles. With this proxy pylon, we can warp in some adepts across the map. We could look to try to get out of control with some economic damage. Reaper's going back in. Again, I'm sure SpiffyBee, he wants to get a read on what exactly is being produced. We do have a Phoenix on the way. Okay. You have my attention. The beginnings of Phoenix Colossus, perhaps? Definitely possible. Phoenix is now in production. Back at home, SpiffyBee going into his 1-1-1. Again, was an economic opener, was a CC on the low ground, and now getting into his starport. Reaper dips back in. Again, looking for any further tech, trying to outmaneuver that adept. And we do get eyes on the Phoenix. And the additional Phoenix is being produced. So good scout overall here by SpiffyBee. Meanwhile, that is a proxy gateway across the map. Robo is on the way. And I imagine this is to get into Phoenix Colossus. I imagine. But we'll see. It's, you know, I'm not an expert on how DaveTesta plays. I don't know. Sure, he has his own play styles and his own tendencies. Reaper does go down. And back at home, we're just settling into this. SpiffyBee getting into the rest of his production, getting into his 3-1-1 setup. Again, everything looking pretty standard here for our green Terran player. Nothing out of the norm. Ooh, we have a Forge on the way. Interesting. Okay. Are we still going to go into Colossi? I'm curious. If we get into a Forge, if we get into fast upgrades, we could try to go for a Twilight Council in charge, but yeah, we're going for a Safety Immortal. Safety Immortal's on the way. Alongside this, we should typically see a Bay. But now Adepts are threading a shade into that mineral line. SpiffyBee not quite coming across them. Yep, there we go. There's that Bay. Nice. So very tech heavy here. This is very greedy out of DaveTesta. I would love to see his Phoenixes be a little bit more active here. So the way this works is this Stargate opener, the Phoenixes, they give you map control. They shut down drop play. They can pick away at units. They can even threaten the mineral lines and force SpiffyBee to turn back around. And they give you the freedom to actually get away with rushing and taking into Colossus, just because this is all off of 2 gateways. 1 proxied, 1 at home. So we have very limited production. But the Phoenixes were kept at home instead, which means this move out is not scouted. And this move out has a lot of potential. Stim is still in the way, it's only vanilla Marines. Adepts, they do shade into the main, but Cyclones are waiting for them. They are going to be shut down. Meanwhile, it looks like the Phoenixes did come across the drop. One of them almost went down. SpiffyBee got a pull back. And DaveTesta, he's getting away with this. The bay is about to finish up. There we go. First Colossus is in production. 3rd base as well. All off of these 2 gateways and with very limited army here as well. SpiffyBee just going to pull back in the end. He goes for the scan. He does get eyes on the tech. Phoenix is immortal. He doesn't see the bay, but he should recognize that a Colossus is on the way. And he's working on his own 3rd CC behind this. SpiffyBee going to be pushing. I'm not too fond of this. I don't know if we really need to. I mean, we don't have any tanks behind this, unfortunately, so yeah, much more mobile army instead. We're going to be going for a drop at the same time. Okay, this I can get behind. So we have a main push that's going to threaten the 3rd base, and we have a drop going into the main. We'll see if DaveTesta can split up his army. He has some shield battery set up at the natural. He has a 2nd Colossus in production. He doesn't have much of an army. He doesn't have blink. So his army isn't too mobile either. Here we go. The army has been spotted. We're going to try and focus down some of these Phoenixes. We don't get any of them. SpiffyBee is being pushed back, but at the same time, he goes for the double drop into the main base. We do not have a recall. Oof. Workers are going down. We can threaten some of the production as well. We're going straight for the pylons. Pylons going to be going down, depowering the Stargate. Do you have... Oh my god! The mines! Every single Phoenix is going to go down. Big Pigos. Without the Phoenixes, we cannot punish this medevac. It can escape. So a decent amount of damage. What's important is that DaveTesta's economy wasn't touched too much. I mean, lost mining time, yes, but did only lose 4 workers. And his Colossus count is still looking strong. He's on 2 Colossi. We have a 3rd Colossus in production as well. So he's going to have a pretty terrifying ground army here. And SpiffyBee is still heavily reliant on a biomine. A mine drop here, getting another 4 workers. Not too bad. Drop coming back into the main. Again, DaveTesta being pulled out of position. Probes are forced to fight the Marines even. Not ideal. More workers are going down. Ay, ay, ay. 10 probes in total. Dave getting back into Phoenix production. Again, he's aware that he needs something to deal with these drops. And SpiffyBee, he's getting out of control economically. Like, macro-wise, SpiffyBee, he's just overwhelming Dave. I will put emphasis a little bit more on this army, though. It's less than ideal when going up against 3 Colossi. It's a very fragile army. Very fragile. But here come the ghosts. Shout out to the Terran player. He has been able to tech up here towards Viking production, Ghost production. That's a 2nd starport on the way. Drop came back in, is cleaned up. And it does feel like Dave is being outscaled in a way. Thankfully, he's now getting into disruptors. Still only off of 1 rover. Still not the best economy here. We definitely can be seeing a 4th base. For now, a scan reveals the lack of additional gases. Another scan does reveal the entire army as well. So SpiffyBee, he's at least aware of what he's up against. And with the lack of Phoenixes, we can keep going for drop play. There we go. We have a mine drop coming towards the 3rd. Mine drop moving towards the main. The proxy has finally been found. And SpiffyBee should be able to shut it down as well. And he doesn't have to push. He can just build up his Viking count and his Ghost count. And eventually it's going to force Dave to counterattack, as SpiffyBee is about to max out. We got the mine drops are coming in. We do have a couple of cannons. Oh my god, but the shots are looking good nonetheless. 6 workers go down at the same time and drop into the third base as well. We don't have a reaction. We don't have a reaction and the mines go off. Oh, taking down 14 workers, and Dave, he's stuck back at home, stuck trying to deal with this. Mines are being cleaned up. The economy is in shambles. And we're getting into Sky Toss as another mine shot goes off. They were able to reset. But yeah, we have +1 air attack, Storm on the way, second Robo. Again, a bit of everything. Which if we're able to have enough time, it can all come together, don't get me wrong. But the economy is what is suffering, and without a good economy, we can't actually make use of all of this. Fourth base soon to be on the way. It was delayed thanks to this mine. Big shout out to Tater Tutor gifting a sub to Cyberjohn. Gracias, Tater Tutor. Gracias. And here we go. SpiffyBee is pushing right through the center. He has maxed out. And Dave has a decent army here. He's getting in position, but there are so many Vikings. We're looking for the EMPs. Storm is done. Storm's going to be connecting here with the, oh my god, with the Vikings, but the EMPs are insane. And I think that was the final Storm. We can push forward. We need some juicy Novas, and even then, decent connections. But we need more than just disruptors. Alas, the main army is lacking. The Vikings land behind this as well, trapping the disruptors, trapping the stalkers. Oh! Ooh. Big connection once again, but SpiffyBee, he has too much. He overwhelms the army. Boys are being pulled. GG, well played gets called. Except Este Dave. And SpiffyBee will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Spiffy, and my condolences to DaveTesta. But I hope he enjoyed himself nonetheless. He was able to more or less get into the swing of things here in game number 2. Game 1 was a little bit chaotic, and game 1 was, yeah, we don't need to talk about game 1. But game 2 was a little bit more back and forth at least. And yeah, they were able to, at least get into, you know, somewhat 3-base saturation. And with that, SpiffyBee will advance on in the tournament. And Dave, I believe, is going to be casting from here, and I'll let him know. I'll let him know that he can follow SpiffyBee into his next opponent, as we do have a look at the bracket. Let's go.